So welcome back. So what I want to try to do this lesson is add a bit more security, saying that you're not authorized to delete unless you're the actual user. So right now you can see that when I do a delete here, it's only available for the lower one because he is the owner of this one. That's why he can delete it. So I cannot delete this one because I don't own it. And if I log out and I just log on with the admin instead here, I'll show you that he is actually allowed to delete the other one. So he's allowed to delete the top one because that's the one he owns. Now there's a few things in this we need to change. So what you do first is actually go in and you do the checkout of the Git of version 16 to get to the code where I'm at right now. Do the 17 again if you want to just have all the code in there and just follow along. But if you want to write the code yourself, it's a 16. Let's go into the code here. I've made a few changes. First, you have to understand a bit about schema. So this schema on the syllabus, we added already something called an owner. Now this owner is actually referencing a user collection, right? And that user collection is actually this model right here. If I go to the bottom, the very bottom here, it'll actually show that it says user in the bottom here. So it's sending itself out as a user schema. So what does that mean? That means that now I can actually, using a specific schema object ID, I can actually reference, like in a relational database, I can now reference another table or another collection as we call it here. So if I want to do that, I can, if I just show you the seeding, it's very basic to do it actually, because all I have to do is actually, like I do here, say owner, and this is the ID of the owner. Okay, so for this syllabus, I'm pointing at the admin as the owner, and if I go down here, the owner is actually the test user. Okay, so those are the two different guys, and that's all you have to do. But to also send information about the owner back, we have to make a few changes in our API here. So I go under API syllabus and syllabus controller. I go down to the show one and the index one. Here they're saying something like find index async or find async. I want to change that because now I also want to populate actually the owner as I pull him out. So populate, if you do not add this one, you will only get the actual ID. You'll only get the ID of the user like it is right here. And that's not enough for us because we want to know, maybe at least later, we want to know not only the ID, we want to know everything about this guy. So that's why we're adding in the controller populate. We're going to talk about depopulate later, but this is a basic way saying the owner has a reference to someone else. So just by adding populate and this single line right here that I want to populate the owner, and then saying I want to populate him only with name and email. I don't want the password and everything else, just his name and his email, and automatically it'll also take the underscore ID. That's how we do that, and then it will actually return the actual owner inside this model right here. So instead of returning just the string, it'll return the actual owner, pulling it from the other setup. Okay, so that's making a document-based database a bit more relational. Of course, that costs resource, so it's not something you do with everything, but sometimes it's allowed to do. Good. Let's try and use it then. So let me just show you the controller. It's very, very basic. We have a function right here with an isOwner equal that function, and then we're getting a syllabus from somewhere, and in our case it'll be from the HTML page. It'll send in a syllabus, and then we just match and ask if that syllabus's owner's ID is the same as the guy who's currently logged in, then you'll get the true. If not, then you'll get the false. And then we use it down here in the syllabus HTML, where we do now add an ng-show or ng-if or whatever you want to do it, that says the button is only available if you are the owner of this. That's all I'm doing, and then I'm pretty much done, and now I have full function that I showed in the beginning. Now I want to tell you something in the end here. The find by ID and populate part, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that by using something called depopulate later, so don't worry too much about it yet, but remember that I've changed this around a bit, these two guys, and you can read the previous code with the current one. You can see the differences, but it's fairly simple what I'm doing here. So Let's talk more about it in later lessons. See you next time.